Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's Crypto Blast Pinch Punch. It's first of the month. It's obviously April the 1st, April Fool's Day. And to be honest, I haven't got a clue what headlines are real and what are fake now anymore. Anyway, um, but welcome to today's Crypto Blast, where Cam will be giving you the ultimate rapid fire update on crypto markets. But before he does, let's get the legals out the way. So nothing discussed on this Spaces session constitutes trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ. Trading is PIQ or PIQ Suite, or indeed that of the hosts, which, as you know by now, is myself, Mr. Ryan Paisley, and Cam O'Connor. And as if by magic, he has just arrived. So let's get him on to the show. Big shout out to Cam actually, well, just for being awesome in general. But yesterday he launched his brand new service. Well, guess company slash whatever we're calling it, Institutional Fi, which is your go-to source for institutional, easy for me to say, news in digital assets. And just all stuff like that. So the big names, your CME groups, your strategies, your meta planets, all of that stuff, all pricing and flows, etc. Cam, is that a good enough plug for you?
That's amazing. Yeah.
So go on. So before we crack on with that, do you want to tell everyone a bit about that, or where did it come from? I guess it's mainly it's because me poking fun at you saying you need to get away from crypto degen, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly where it stemmed from,
It is.
really.
Look, let's be honest. Let's be honest. It was like we was actually sat. Well, we won't say which bar, but everyone knows which bar. And we were
Yeah.
kind of chatting. You were like, "Do you think I need to get away from the degen aspect of my kind of persona?" And I was like, "Possibly."
I want to be taken as a professional, not an absolute trading degenerate, which is exactly
Yeah,
what that
well,
says.
this is it, right? No, but I think, to be honest, I think it's a wonderful move, and I think I speak for plenty of us when wishing you every success. Well, especially me because you're part of Team PIQ now. But anyway,
Right.
let's crack on with today. So, what's been happening in crypto markets?
Absolutely smashing. My apologies, first of all, because we missed the crypto blast from yesterday. So I'll
Yes,
add
we did.
a quick recap over the weekend, and I'll punch in a few different well, not physically punch in, although it's April Fool's, so maybe
Yeah,
news updates that you may have missed from over the weekend, and then we'll cover what happened yesterday as well. Um,
perfect.
as usual, let's start off with a little crypto market update. Looking back to Friday, I put out a post highlighting the CME futures gap toward the downside around $84,000 and provided extra support to the notion that could potentially lead to a gap fill before the US stock market opened. Well, it came an hour after the US stock market opened, so not
Ah, so
exactly as we
you're
mentioned.
shit. You're
I
shit.
know. Terrible, isn't it? So yeah, then what followed was where it didn't stop at 84,000, it kept falling. In fact, yesterday we made a 7-day low of $81,280. However, today paints a different story. Bitcoin has since moved up overnight, 3.5% higher from yesterday's lows, and now trying to reclaim that $84,000 spot. Looking across to Ethereum, ETH fell more than 12% toward the downside since Friday's highs, with no major ETH-focused news contributing to the fall. ETH, however, has since climbed back half of that move down and now sitting at $1,880. Moving down the market cap lists, we'll cover four other of the top market cap participants. Solana trading at $128, XRP at $2.17, Doge at 17 cents, and BNB is trading at $617. As we missed yesterday's spaces, we'll cover the weekly spot
Yes,
ETF
definitely.
flows. So last week, Ethereum spot ETFs recorded a weekly net outflow of $8.6 million. And in contrast, Bitcoin spot ETFs recorded a weekly net inflow of $196 million. So you can see where participants were weighted on the ETH versus Bitcoin
Yeah.
debate there last week. Um,
Can I
Go
just
on.
ask? So can I just ask a quick question? So as a very much a tourist in this space, well, pretty much every space, let's be honest. Um, Is it very much a one or the other at the moment? Like, we're seeing flows into Bitcoin at the expense of Ethereum and vice versa, or is it, will we go back to seeing days when, it's basically inflows into both or outflows into both, because it very much seems at the moment from your post that you put out every day, your daily updates, it's like it seems to be going backwards and forwards between the two, and it's like, is that what you're predicting going forward, or is it just the way the market dynamics are set up at the moment?
Yeah, I think, like you said, the market dynamics how they're set up at the moment, they're two different beasts. When I was looking at and having a chat with some of the Bitwise guys, and they're talking about when they go into these rooms and they're talking about promoting their investment products, either the Bitcoin ETFs or the Ethereum ETFs. It's not necessarily one or the other, but the conversation is always Bitcoin. And then it's
Right.
if they like it, then they have other questions, and then it's, oh, what about Ethereum? So
Right. So
there's
Bitcoin remains the. Sorry, go on.
yeah,
Go on.
the institutional demand here is heavily Bitcoin focused,
Yeah.
and then it's Ethereum. So, looking outside the broader aspects of ETFs in the United States, Ethereum's actually doing quite well. It's only overshadowed with the fact of how well the Bitcoin ETF products have performed over the last year. Is it being overshadowed? I'm not necessarily
So
thinking that they are aligned together, but there's
Bit
also a lot
Bitcoin
of, yeah,
Bitcoin is still kind of the gatekeeper, then kind of like, the
exactly.
OG. I suppose also when you are looking to like kind of invest billions with a B into the space, and you then look at Vitalik, who's kind of meowing dressed as a furry to a robot dog. You kind of like, hang on a second. I don't know if you've seen that video,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yes.
have you seen that video? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but power to the autism. It's what makes this country great.
Oh no, that's exactly. We're all on the spectrum somewhere, aren't
Oh,
we?
massively. Or else why would we be here?
And let's be honest, if you can keep up with what's happening in crypto, you're definitely on that spectrum and
Oh God,
probably
yeah,
weighted toward one side other than the other.
definitely, definitely.
Right. So yeah, I mean, carry on with not to kind of go against everything that I've just said, but and
Oh,
more
I
lean
know.
into what you've just suggested. Yesterday, the Bitcoin spot ETF saw a net outflow of $71 million, and Ethereum saw a net inflow of $6.4 million. So it may have just counteracted everything I said there, and
Yeah.
it's either one or the other. All right, let's crack on with some news that you may have missed. The Japanese Financial Services Agency plans to revise the law to formally position crypto assets as financial products and plans to introduce new insider trading regulations to prohibit the buying and selling of crypto assets based on undisclosed insider information. The bill is expected to be submitted to Congress in 2026. Some news that dropped yesterday: Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. are investing in a Bitcoin mining company, as per Wall Street Journal. They did later come out to basically formally say, yes, we're partnering with Hut 8, a Bitcoin mining company, yeah, and this bit I'm not entirely sure what it means. Establish an American Bitcoin, which is exactly, dedicated to industrial
What?
grade Bitcoin mining and strategic Bitcoin reserve development, which means they're
Oh,
just
this is a
mining
word
Bitcoin.
salad. This is a massive word salad that basically, because I'm right in thinking, again, if I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but Hut 8, they're a publicly traded company, right?
Yep, they are.
So this sounds like a massive, just like, right, we're going to just join forces. We'll be worth a few percentage points, and we'll just throw out a word salad that makes people think, okay, well, I better buy Hut 8.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, if anyone's listening, look, I can be done for libel. I'm sorry, I'm only joking. It's April the 1st.
exactly. Don't take anything we say too seriously today, please.
Not just today, but just in general.
Yeah, well, caveat that. Yeah, no, exactly. I probably won't spend too much time on that. Although interesting to note, Hut 8 last year were subject to a short report from one of the major short report firms, which did lead to a massive plummet in the stock price last year. Um, just take that as you will. Might be worth doing some research into that.
Yeah.
So
No,
moving on,
definitely.
according to Bloomberg, FTX will start repaying its major creditors by the end of May using the 11.4 billion with a B in cash reserves accumulated since its closure. Small creditors have already begun receiving payments, but the company will make its first payments to major credit groups on May 30th. Bitcoin mining company Marathon Digital has announced a $2 billion market directed stock offering with plans to primarily use the proceeds to purchase additional Bitcoin for general corporate purposes. They can't mine it. They can't mine Bitcoin quick enough. Also, it's currently more expensive to mine Bitcoin. What was it? The hash rate is so high at the moment that it costs more to mine Bitcoin than it would just to buy and sell it,
Just
which is
buy them.
mental.
Yeah. So again, forgive me if obviously everyone listening that knows about crypto would probably look at me and laughing. But in terms of this, then, so explain to me why then that the miners don't just turn off and the money that they would be spending on mining, they don't just buy Bitcoin, or do some actually do that? I don't know.
Yeah, some do that.
Do.
How do I say that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of them do have those practices. A lot of the time, they just mine and sell it. However, you'll notice what separates the smaller miners to the big miners is their Bitcoin holdings. The
Yeah.
likes of Marathon, Riot, they have like astronomical size of Bitcoin holdings, and they generally operate off of this. They'll stake it and all sorts. Um, One of them, I'm not going to throw out a few names because I can't remember exactly what it is. They also they participate with ETH, like and not mining ETH, but add it to their plans where they'll mine Bitcoin, then they'll sell some Bitcoin, and then buy Ethereum and stake Ethereum to generate yield. They're
Right.
quite a complex beast, and they all operate slightly differently. Um, so yeah, you'll find that a lot of Bitcoin mining investors will only invest in Bitcoin mining stocks,
Got
which
you.
is a tricky game. I don't know if a lot of them are profitable over the last year. You'll have to check in with them, see how they're doing.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Moving on, Metaplanet issues 2 billion Japanese yen in 0% ordinary bonds to purchase additional BTC. They're moving quite quickly at a rapid rate, trying to accumulate as much BTC as they possibly can over the next year. I can't remember exactly the percentage of circulating supply that they're trying to gain, but it was quite a large sum comparatively to what they have at the moment. It was something like 10x of what they started the year off with. So
Right.
yeah, Metaplanet are on an absolute buying spree at the moment, and I've actually had a chat with Simon in December. Met him and Dylan over in Abu Dhabi, and they were really confident that they could achieve that goal. So you definitely one to keep a close eye on over the coming months.
Yeah. Got you. Got you.
In a not so positive news, crypto hack losses hit $28.8 million in March. Now, if we compare this to what happened in February,
But how?
that number
So
looks quite
just
small.
oh, do you know what? Oh, you just stole my thunder.
Oh no, go on.
I was about to say, sorry, but that sounds tiny because when you first said it, I was like, hang on, with an M, million. Um, but look, now you just have to believe me that that's what I thought. But yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, no, that's it. February saw $1.5 billion in crypto hack losses. So 28.8 million. I think we'll take that
Oh,
number.
nothing. Is there been like a massive power cut in North Korea that no one's told us about or something like that?
Someone should check on them, see if they're okay.
Yeah. Hello, anyone there?
Right, right. This is going to be another billions with a B. Strategy acquires an additional 22,000 BTC for $1.9 billion, achieving a BTC yield of 11% year to date, bringing its total BTC holdings exceeding 528,000 BTC. So,
Oh, big time.
yeah, big time, doing some steady buying there. It's that $1.9 billion is a lot more than their 2 weeks ago when they purchased 10 million. uh, I'm not
Small step up.
yeah, just a small step up. uh, Moving on, we've got two more stories to cover. The US House plans to hold hearing on April 9th regarding crypto market structure legislation. That one is going to be what I'm going to be paying close attention to. I'm quite happy when I see those headlines.
Yeah, I bet.
And I said two, but I really meant one because I just realized I've copied another story and twice. So
Well,
that
here's a story though. So, was
go
it
on.
yesterday? Sorry, I can't remember if it was yesterday or Sunday. It was probably yesterday morning. Old Hook Tour girl's been completely let off scot free.
Oh
SEC
yeah.
dropped the case. So yeah,
Absolutely.
we were talking last week and the week before even about how the Trump administration is prime. You know, there's no doubt anymore. It's not just talk; it's actions in regards to being much more crypto friendly. And the SEC have obviously been under. You know, they've been. There's probably been an email going around from the big man saying, "Look, drop all cases that you can." Which is fine because some of these did feel like they were just tying it up for no particular reason. But then to drop a case like the Hook Tour coin seems a bit rogue because there was definitely fraud committed and money well there was definitely badness going on there, and yet completely not even a slap on the wrist, which sounds a bit weird if you ask me, but what do I know.
Well, I mean, there's a few things you could say to that. She just Hoxwood all over the SEC.
Oh god, it's a
Oh
family
dear.
show.
Oh dear. Backtrack. It's difficult for the Trump administration to target the Hawk Tour Girls meme coin launch when they launched a meme coin and definitely rugged
Well,
the community.
you could argue at least three coins that they've done now. Well, definitely two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not just the one. When there's multiple that they could be
Yeah, fair. That's a
claimed
fair
with.
point. It's now you've mentioned that and reminded me of that. It now seems, of course, they've let her off.
Yeah. Our good friend Jay's just messaged saying poor SEC.
Oh, BAs. They deserve everything they get. Perfect. Cool. Well,
Lovely.
is that your lot?
That brings it to a close.
Perfect. Well, look, 15 minutes almost dead on. So that's perfect. Cam,
Boom.
thank you so much for keeping us updated. Everyone, like we said before, check out Cam's new venture, Institutional Fi, for the less degenerate side of crypto. And Cam, we will see you all tomorrow. Well, thank you all so much for listening in.
See you then.